Hello everybody! Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is another episode of Nuts and Bolts. How are we tonight? Oh, it's been... Oh, hang on a second, Natty. Something's gone wrong with the sound. The one thing that I couldn't test while we were waiting for Pete to finish. I think that's okay. I know why it is not working. Give me 2 seconds. Live and dangerous, people. There we go. Natty should be coming through loud and clear now, chat. We'll try that again. How are you, Natty?
Oh, I'm doing well. It's brilliant to be here. I just exploded with joy about how exciting it was to watch Dean talk about nanobites, because you can tell he's actually really passionate about what he's doing. I don't know, man. I wish I was that passionate about my day job.
He really loves it. He just going through that design phase of it, and from woe to go, learning about the nanobites. That was just so incredible.
But also really inspiring too. If you have a clear vision for something, you can make it work. If you have enough dedication and drive and all those things that Dean seems to have in spades, which I'm super jealous of. Meanwhile, Pete as well. I think they're two peas from the same pod. Is that the right way to say that saying?
Definitely cut from the same cloth.
Oh, yes. That's a good way to say it too.
That's it. Peas in a pod's good as well. I wonder if you can make an esport out of nanobites. Like, they've got the game in the little app. I wonder if you could convert that to an esport somehow.
Well, all things are possible.
That's it. Maybe speedruns. Speedruns are just basically esports anyway, seeing you can get the fastest time.
Well, that's really a super duper controversial thing to say.
Really?
Because some people are like, yes, absolutely, they're competitive and they're, video games, they're an esport. And other people are like, no, because you're not playing against other people at the same time. Apparently that's a critical thing.
You say that, but when things like GDQ come around and they have races... That's an esport. Like, they've got a leaderboard. So does that mean the people that just do time trial laps, are they not sports people because they don't compete against other people or directly against other people? But yeah, interesting take. And I'm going to write that one down for a future discussion topic.
All right.
Because I really, really love my speed runs, and I want to argue with. I'll have to find somebody that has the opposing viewpoint. I think, because I want to argue with somebody about.
All right. Well, look, I'll devil's advocate. I'll do some research. I'll pull out the it is not an esport argument. We can do this.
Yeah. Cool.
Oh, look, Montaldo in chat, I think, is dobbing himself in for this.
Ooh, I can argue all day with Menthonzo.
Did you ever watch, there was a show on The Escapist, and I can't even remember what it was called, but it would just be two guys arguing about a completely nonsensical nerd topic. Anyway, I'll remember the name of it, so it's actually more relevant to me bringing it up. But I would love to see you and Menthonzo just to have a massive debate. Okay, look.
He even disagrees. All right, this is great. It's on for young and old.
Oh, and he's performed the egregious sin of spelling esports with a couple capital S. I'll debate you about that, Menthonzo, all day, how you spell esports.
Oh, fun times. Lots going on at the moment, particularly in League of Legends. Worlds going on. They're a bit into their month-long competition to find out who was going to take home all the glory. But they've been a nice little aside, really. We're going to show you the clip. I'm not going to play the music, but we'll show you the clip. But 100 Thieves have had a little bit of a crossover with Lil Nas X, making some footage over the top of his songs, That's What I Want and Industry Baby. So if you haven't checked them out, jump on YouTube and look for 100 Thieves and Lil Nas. It's really, really cool. I like the way they've done it, and just to it adds another thing to the whole competition. Like, music is just a whole nother dimension to things. It's like the right song will pump you up. It's why songs like Eye of the Tiger are on so many people's get psyched lists and things like that, even though, you know, the song is decades old at this point. And just seeing them all get into it and having a good time just, yeah, makes me have a good time.
Yeah, 100 Thieves is one of those brands in esports that have just done a good job of diversifying. So they've got their stream team. They pulled on Valkyrie last year to do a lot of marketing and promotion for them, and she's in this video as well. And then, yeah, just doing crossovers like Little Nas is just really showing just how they're able to diversify. And we were chatting a little bit before that, just this about, music in esports and how relevant it is. League of Legends have had that sponsorship running now with Spotify for a couple of years. And we've seen teams picking their song for Worlds, which has been shared during the broadcast. And we've also had just other partnerships going on, League of Legends having their own band basically that they created too. Like, lots of agility there for how the two industries can work together.
Definitely. But, and you showed me earlier, I haven't had a chance to have a look at it yet, because it was literally right before the show, but there was actually a white paper done, The Sound of Music in Sync with Esports, discussing how there can be business opportunities because of some behavioural traits that the market that esports appeals to has, and people that the music industry wants to get into and get their stuff out to.
Yeah. Well, one big thing that the music industry can really gain from getting into esports is that most esports fans are digital natives. They're already subscribed to 20 different subscription services, and so they're already on Apple iTunes, they're already on Spotify, they're already on whatever music streaming service they're on. So if you're advertising to them a music artist, they can have access to that music straight away and be streaming it. And it works both ways as well for artists who are looking to pull in a younger audience as well, or potentially audiences of, obviously particularly young males that do pull up a lot in the esports fan statistics, that if they're wanting to pull in more of that demographic to what they're trying to sell, it works really well. I do need to say that the research that was provided was through Media Research, MEDIA, and they presented this as part of the Esports Bar Conference, which is the premier esports conference that runs every year. And it's starting today in, I never say it right. It's the place where they have the movie festival as well.
Cairns?
Cairns.
Cairns.
You say
Cairns?
Cairns?
Something like that. I think it depends where you're from, I think, like status or status, yeah.
I feel like if you say Cairns, then people think like Cairns, like Northern Territory. So, but no, it's really exciting. It's really, really exciting. I think this is just an awesome partnership. These two like brands together, they're just, I'm going to sound really old, but it's cool and cool together, whatever that equals. Mega cool, omega cool, even maybe. Uber cool.
Yeah. Nice. But yeah, so that's
cool. I completely forgot to say what's extra cool about this is that we've got FBI in there, who's an Aussie player getting some airtime. So we like to see that.
That is very cool. Jake Peralta would be cooling out right now.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, so that was some really great things to see from it, which is good because there was some not so great stuff that has happened the last few days with Worlds as well. So Fnatic put out an announcement that one of their players, Upset, that has had to return home due to family emergencies, and that Bean will be stepping in to take over from him in Iceland right now. So very I'm going to choose my words quite carefully here because I want to say it's disappointing, but it's just more tragic really that he's had to step back and go home to family, which is what you do. You go home and take home family, but it's got to hurt as well, stepping away from this opportunity at Worlds.
Yeah, 100%. You know, we're thinking of Upset and his family. I must admit, when I saw this headline at first, even though I know Upset is a LoL player, I was very confused because somebody said, "Oh, Upset," and I was thinking of the, you know, the emotion. Anyway, don't mind me.
Yeah.
I mean, and obviously the other part to this is obviously throwing Fnatic into a difficult position, similar to Peace, where they had to, you know, pull in 2 players to fill out their roster. Now Fnatic's got an extra player coming up, stepping into their team that maybe they weren't expecting. Even if they are a regular sub for the team, it still would be throwing them off a little bit. And we've unfortunately seen that in the results of their games as well. They're, you know, underperforming a little bit to what people were expecting, playing a bit more hyper aggressively than people were expecting as well. So yeah, I don't want to say too much into this because there's a lot of kind of discussion in the background around whether they're playing to the best of their ability and whether they feel like they're a little bit hamstrung with Upset not being there or for other reasons. We're not sure, but yeah, it's certainly a difficult situation to be managing.
You can also just be having a bad time. Like, I imagine that there's, like, anything that you do, confidence plays a big part of it. And if you were kind of a little bit shaky going in without Upset because you're used to him and you knew how he played, and he knew all the plays that you got. I don't know who their shot caller is, so he might have been a pretty decent shot caller as well. And you take someone, an established member out of your team, it's going to shake your confidence a little bit, and you lose one game, and all of a sudden that can snowball as well. So that's unfortunate, but yeah, they're looking after your family. It's what you got to do. There's no easy choice here.
No, exactly right. I don't think anybody is upset for returning home. You know, you always got to put family first in those situations.
Right. Yep. And
I just realised we didn't have on the agenda to chat about Peace and how they went.
Don't worry, I may not have put it on the agenda, but I've got it in my notes.
Excellent, excellent. I was just sitting here going, hang on, we haven't had a podcast since their last games.
No. That's it. No, we're definitely going to be talking about Peace in 2 stories' time, I think, because there was also, in more roster news, we've got... So this one here was a little interesting, really, because G2 are another Worlds team. They actually, I've just realised I haven't switched the sound over here. Give me 2 seconds there. God. But I blame Pete. Pete's put me out of sorts for not being ready.
Tech issues.
Yeah, that's it.
Hang on, oh, here we go.
Yeah, that's all right. So yeah, G2 announced that they were parting ways with, or looking to trade and bench, I think were the words that Carlos here used in his announcement. But yeah, basically they're Wonder, Mickey, Breckles, and coaches Grabs and Nelson were basically going to be parting with G2. So that's 3 players and 2 coaches there. And as well as some looking to replace some support staff as well. So that's a huge turnover in a team. And I was trying to find out earlier as well, but I couldn't see. I don't think G2 made Worlds this year.
Oh, that is very good news if they didn't.
Yeah, I think because they won MSI last year, I think. But I don't think they...
Yeah, they didn't make it.
Yeah, no. So that could be part of it. They could be having some just a look at their teams and thinking that maybe they could do with a refresh. So yeah, so that there's just certain teams do that. They move out a lot of people, and And particularly behind the scenes, there'll be a lot of talks that we won't be privy to, and that nobody in the public will be privy to, about the direction that they want the team to head. And if the coaches and the players aren't on board with that, then that will obviously facilitate a change in that staff.
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends as well on what kind of promises they've made to, the key stakeholders in G2 as well. If they've been saying to them, yes, we're definitely going to make it to World, and everybody that's got sponsorships with us, we're going to get all that World's airtime, and then they failed to make Worlds. You kind of have to show that you're making drastic changes to make sure that doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
It is kind of scary, though, the idea of completely uprooting the majority of your play roster and support staff. So hopefully they can come out of the gate next year and really perform well after the changes. But that also comes down to, the leadership that's still there, to see how they go. Hopefully, they feel like they're getting enough turnover to get a fresh start.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. And hopefully we'll see them come back stronger on the scene next time. So, but yes, now we get to talk about peace. So
we do. Yay!
After their brave,
you have to bring up the close-up picture of Tally. You can go to my profile if you want. In Tally We Trust.
Hang on.
Something I posted over the weekend, because Peace obviously had their games running in the middle of the night.
Oh, yeah.
Best of 5 games for me, going from 2 a.m. to 6 or 7 a.m. in the morning.
Yep.
And it's just, a little bit exhausting. There we go. There's Tally, our boy.
Yeah, hang on. I'll flick the scene back. Yeah, in Tally We Trust. Yeah, one of the best of 5. Well, I didn't know it was the best of 5 at the time, but I saw on Twitter Peace saying, "We're starting now. Come and have a look." And oh yeah, I'll go have a look, because being in WA, it's a little kinder on the time differences there, and it was like 11 or midnight, and I gone, oh yeah, let's sit down and watch it. And then I think I watched the first game and realised it was a best of 5 and went, no, I think I'm going to bed. But
it was good though that their earlier one-off games, they were all earlier in the night mostly, which was really good for us.
Because for you, that was 7 o'clock, 7 o'clock Perth time. That was great.
Yeah, and I think I had one at 10:30 and one at 12:30. So even then, it's not that bad for our audiences. But yes, it got a bit rough in the best of 5 game.
Yeah. So for those playing along at home, Peace entered in the play-in stages for Worlds. So this is like a lower bracket style thing for teams to qualify for the last 4 group spots. Before and after groups, you head on to playoffs. So Peace finished the first round of play-ins with 2 wins and 2 losses, which put them 3rd in their group. The teams that finished top, so there were 2 groups, they went on to claim the spots in groups round, and then they do the second round of play-ins, where the teams that finished 2nd to 5th, with the 6th team going, I think it was 6, or is there 5 teams? But anyway, the last team went out the back door, and the middle pack played in play-in 2. So in the first round of knockouts there, Peace beat Red Canids in a best of 5 3-2, but unfortunately we're beaten by Cloud9 3-0, and Cloud9 went through to claim a spot for group. So they were just that one win away from, one series away from getting a spot in groups. But either way, they did miraculously well, watching their games, and with 2 fill-in players in Vivaciaci and Lived.
Yes.
For them to do so well straight out of the blocks, I was very impressed with.
Yeah, that best of 5 series with Red, that was so entertaining. Just because we had the real back and forth. So we had, Peace and then Reds, and then I think it was Reds, and then I can't remember now. I just remember getting up to that last game and just being absolutely on the edge of my seat for how the action went. And That third game in that Reds set, I don't know if you were up for that game. Doesn't sound like you were.
No.
So we saw some really amazing drafting, and some people were even going to say that Peace won the game off of the draft because they managed to pick Poppy, who's, not a common pick. Vivachachi grabbed Poppy, and he was taking her into a team that had a lot of dashes for their special abilities, and Poppy has the ability to negate that. So with what that, I think it was last or second to last pick, he kind of went, nah, all of your team's mobility just gone. And it was just, the commentators were just having the best time with it. Just, Poppy, yes!
So just on that and the drafting there, is that ability unique to Poppy?
I actually don't know. The characters in League of Legends do have generally quite unique special abilities, and I think she's one of a couple of characters that has that ability. Yeah,
that's it. And not knowing what else got banned, but if there's this one, if you're going for a build that is based on dashing, and there's this one character that can nullify your dashing, wouldn't you try and ban them? Like, that just sort of seems...
I think this Poppy is a left of field pick anyway, and I think the other thing that Reds were really concerned about was negating Babip's carries. So he was doing quite well on Nidalee and Lilia, and so I think they were trying to prioritize making sure they weren't getting picked. Zed as well for. The other player on Peace that I can't remember the name of right now.
Violet?
That they were...
Vivachachi?
Violet, The Violet, yeah. So it was just oversight, I think. I honestly think it was just oversight.
So far outside the meta that they just really weren't expecting it.
Yeah, both. Both, I would definitely say. I mean, Peace did do a good job. Even in that game, they took Aatrox, which, again, not that commonly picked. So I think they just were really playing it on the ball and saw the opportunity and just went, yeah, we can flex to this. We can make this work with the skill set we've got in this team. Vivachachi's known for playing Poppy as far as historically he's got history with that character. So worked out really well. Made a very, very fun squash game. Yeah. Which is fun for you to see as the supporting team, but obviously not so fun for Reds.
That's it, yeah. But yeah, it was great to see them get some outing, and great to see our OCE teams still making some headway in the Worlds and international competitions in general. I always love seeing the guys, and just like we know where we are in the world. We know over here it's hard to scrim and get that experience against the regions that have the big name players and stuff like that, or having to like I follow a few of the LCO players on Twitter, and quite often they're posting like 40 minutes, an hour and a half wait time in the queue to even get a game. And it's just, yeah, it's crazy like that. When we're trying to build a region and we're getting wait times like that, it's insane. And when you go to an international competition with so many upper class players of that caliber, and to be able to adjust and win some games, it's just amazing to see.
Absolutely. I agree. I think that Peace did a great job performing as well as they did. And I honestly, I was a little bit disappointed they drew completely dead against C9, but, Cloud9, are one of the best North American teams. They've got a big player pool to pick from as far as their population being so high. So I think that how they performed, absolutely fabulous, considering they were two regular players down.
Yep.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Can definitely hold their heads high.
Vivachachi's made a fan.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Vivachachi fan for life.
I'd be interested to know how they got hold of him, because Lived at least is another OCE player, so But yeah, how because Vivicaci, he's Italian, I think. Hungarian. Yeah. So like he was in Europe already. So did they just like put out the call going, help, we need another player, and he's gone, yeah, I'll do it. Or
just imagine in like some European like Discord somewhere for LOL LCE like grandmasters and stuff. They're just like, hey, anybody want to like help out peace? And he's like, yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah. So I could just see it happening too. Yeah, I'll give it a shot. Why not?
Yeah. I mean, who knows? He could have connections with peace that we don't know about. The ties always seem to run deep in esports. People seem to know each other through long lost connections. So
yeah, but it was good to see him out there anyway.
The other thing that was disappointing was that Cloud9 has Fudge on their team, who's another Aussie player, and so it was Aussies versus Aussies, which I don't like to see. But it kind of makes you feel a little bit better knowing Cloud9 going on with an Aussie on the team. So Cloud9 just have to do really well. That's how it works, right?
That's it.
They knock us out, so they have to win.
Just on that, as a last little bit before we go on to the next story, I did want to bring up the table for. So this is
Cloud9.
So this is standings after day 2. So as you can see, Damwon Kia pretty dominant in their group. Edward Gaming also with the 2-0, and Royals also with the 2-0. And Fnatic sitting down the bottom of that one. We were talking about them a bit earlier. But curiously, Group D with everyone's got a win on the board.
Yeah, that's
you love to see it.
Really interesting. I'm a really huge fan of Mad Lions, and so seeing like that whole group just being a model like that is just really exciting. So looking forward to see how they separate. And we've got obviously 100 Thieves there. Hopefully the little Malzex powers them up, gives them a bit more go leading into the next round of games.
Yep, fingers crossed. But also, the League of Legends isn't the only international competition going on at the moment. We also have Dota going on. Like, there's lots going on. Like, I find that this time of year, there's so much going on, and Worlds goes for a month, so, there's always things that'll go on at the same time as Worlds. But, yeah, Dota with their international event here, the TI-10 happening, it's already into its second day. You can see some of the lower bracket teams have played off, and a couple of the upper bracket as well. Sorry, lower bracket teams have played off, and yeah, the upper bracket are continuing on here. So in the knockouts here, for that share of that, $18 million. Well, not even a share. That's what you get. $18 million.
Freaking nuts! Biggest prize pool in the world for this tournament. It's crazy.
Well, I'm just looking at it here. Even the teams that finished 13th to 16th get $600,000.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's some real dollary dues right there.
Oh, yeah. I might have to start playing Dota. I've never even watched the game, but maybe I should start playing.
I honestly tried Dota, but it was the same time as I started getting into Heroes of the Storm, and that Heroes of the Storm is a lot more of a friendly environment to start playing. Also, for the life of me, somebody will have to sit down and explain it to me why item shopping is fun in MOBAs, because Dota has it and so does League of Legends, but Heroes of the Storm certainly didn't have it. And I understand it adds an extra layer of complexity, but I don't want to go to the shop and be shopping in my game. Yeah, that's not what it is, but that's mentally how I...
But I get that as well on on Valorant and like those sorts of round-based games where you get money for how well you do, and then you buy weapons and whatnot, and you go, I have a gun and it goes bang. That is literally me. That's
Oh, well, that's the difference between us being filthy casuals and people that actually know what they're talking about.
That's very, very true. Yep.
Dota 2's had their first day of main event playoffs, and so they're heading into the second day, which for us will be starting a little later tonight. So we've got PSG, LGD versus T1. We've also got VP versus GP, both in the upper bracket, and then we've got Team Spirit versus Fnatic in the lower bracket, and OG versus Quincy Crew in the lower bracket. So lots more games tonight, and that'll be ongoing for a while too. So yeah, I'm just like always astounded. The prize money is just so huge. Every time it rocks around. The other thing that I still giggle about, and you'll have to excuse me, but like TI, the Invitational.
Yeah. Well, it's like
I don't know why it makes me think of like giggle about it every time. The Invitational.
Yeah, but it's I guess like it's 10, so it's been going for a while. It was probably the go to, like, the thing, international. Yeah, and Menthonzo says international. Yeah, but either way, it's like the international, and I guess it's like artists and that just go by one name, Cher, Madonna. you know who you're talking about. You know, even the ones that have multiple names, Kanye. If I say Kanye, you know who you're talking about, or Elton.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, I must admit, it does get a little bit confusing, especially when we're at this time of the year and you're like, worlds. And people are like, what do you mean worlds? Worlds for what?
Which one?
So, yeah, so it's good that they do have the point of separation there. Menthonzo in chat, absolutely just dying hard there for Dota. It's the hardcore MOBA.
Yeah. He's also going in hard on how to spell esports too.
Yeah, look, we'll have that debate one day, Menthonzo. Yeah. I'm also aware that Menthonzo is an absolute troll, so he probably doesn't care.
That is also true. Sorry, not sorry. Cool. So one more little bit. We've got a video to play for actually not one more bit. We've got a couple more things to talk about here. So, but got a video that we want to show because there's a game. Have you played any of Splitgate?
No, I've watched some Splitgate, but I still haven't gotten hands on, which I really need to do because it's arena shooter. It's my jam. I need to get in there.
It is so much fun. It is, for those that don't know, Splitgate is basically COD with portals. It is so good. Like just being able to teleport in behind somebody or just put a portal in the right spot and shoot them and they have no idea what the hell's going on. It's so much fun. But I'm going to play this announcement here and you'll see why it's on Nuts and Bolts. There we have it. So Splitgate are announcing a Pro Series. So this is their, like you said, the $600,000 prize pool just happening there with a huge amount for the first place grand final people, which is this is a really fun game. I've played it a few times, and like I said, I have a gun, it goes bang. That is generally how I play. But I was having some good fun and having a few wins with Splitgate. So, and I know in our Discord, one of our members there, Promethean, was talking about trying to get a squad together and have a go at it. And I'm thinking of having a go at it as well. I was doing reasonably enough that I think that, you know, I'm half decent at it. And no doubt an open qualifier will pull me back down to the level I'm supposed to be at. But yeah, it sounds fun. Like free tryouts. Go for it. Why not? Like nothing to try.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm always surprised how they have announcements for these things. Like this is in 5 days' time. And when did this video come out? Like 2 days ago?
Yeah. When was it posted? 12th.
Yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday.
So, like, and this is one thing that is really unique to esports, especially newer games or things they're trying to establish. There's this super quick turnarounds. Like, you don't get months and months of notice. You have 5 days. Get your team together, get in there, get registered, go. And I really think that it works with the brains of people that are that are gaming and at the top of esports, because if it's anything that's in a couple months, we're going to forget about it and not jump on it. So you're already thinking, hey, who am I lining up? Let's get this team together. Let's get registered, because otherwise we'll miss out on the opportunity.
That's it, Promethean. I'm coming to have a chat with you.
There we go. Do it.
We did play a couple of rounds together, so it'll be good to get in and just start working some maps and see what's going on. But I think on the note of how quickly it happens, I think it's as what Menthonzo refers to as a flavour of the month thing. So Splitgate's got a pretty decent following at the moment because it's a free shooter. Anybody can go on Steam, and it's over consoles as well. Go and download it. You can have a bit of fun with it. So they've got a decent player base. So I think that while they've got that decent player base, they're going to try out the esports thing and see how it goes. And I'm all in. Like I say, I love this game. It's really good.
Yeah. Oh, well, absolutely jump in. Anybody tuning in. And Jim's looking for a teammate, so jump in the Discord.
That's it.
Give him a tag and get the team together. Have they said anything about, I completely missed it if they said in the video, like team size or anything like that?
They didn't. I'm just going to have a quick look. Where's some more? There you go. So splitgateproseries.com. If you go there, I'm sure. Let's go there now. Let's live and dangerous. No planning at all. Which kind of, that says we actually do plan things and don't just have a list of things that we want to talk about.
We're wearing pants, which means we can fly by the seat of them.
I don't want to stand up. Splitgate Pro. Let's have a quick look at this. So,
Menthonzo's just said in chat, no such thing as camping. It's called static placement.
It's a legitimate strategy.
A legitimate strategy.
So, look, there's 6 open qualifiers with a last chance qualifier and the grand final taking place on the 13th of December. 3 a.m. plus 8 GMT. Jesus, that's early.
What time is that for us?
Well, Perth is plus 8 GMT. Perth is plus 8 GMT. So that'll be... I love websites that do that.
Website developers. Yeah. Thank you.
It's converted into the local time. Thank you so much. But yeah, that doesn't. Maybe it's just
the registration form. We can have a look. Yeah.
Maybe it's just joining as individuals and. More info.
I would say this is something we could talk about next week once we investigate it. But registrations will be closed by then. So no.
So registration's open now. General rules, how to play.
Oh, here we go. Look, it specifically says there no camping, Menthy. No static places.
I just want to... Because it might just be a team deathmatch thing.
Oh, you reckon it's all maybe 1v1?
Yeah, it could just be 1v1. In which case I've got no chance. I need people to carry me if we're doing this, That's just a page I was on back here. Single elimination bracket. Oh, hang on. Single elimination brackets. Best of 3 and best of 5. Well, that sort of says it's a team thing.
Team, yeah. You'd think it would be teams with best of games, yeah.
But anyway, well, I'm going to have... If you want to, head over to splitgateproseries.com and sign up there. Because we've got... actually, I need to... While there was no games last week for the ANZPL, I still want to talk about the games that are coming up because they're going to be fun. Look. And of course,
we need to prepare our fantasy rosters.
I do. Well, I think mine might have been prepared last week when I thought the game was going to be last week. So I think I'm pretty good there.
Good to go.
That's it. Give me 2 seconds. Sorry.
Thanks for the link, Blue. Blue's just dropped the link for Splitgate in the chat.
Thanks, Blue. Here we go. Cool. So yeah, we've got South Sydney Scorpions versus the Auckland Archers at 7 o'clock Australian Eastern. That's daylight savings time, not standard time, as the graphic says. So they're first up there, and then followed by Adelaide Action X versus the Christchurch Conquerors, Perth Panthers versus Melbourne Matildas, North Sydney Sentinels versus the Brisbane Bulldogs. So this is a key thing here, because a lot of these teams, like, their seasons are on the line. Currently, North Sydney Sentinels are sitting on top with equal points to the South Sydney Scorpions as well. So, but for teams like the Matildas, Action X, Auckland Archers, they're knocking on the door. So Matildas are sitting on 9 points, Brisbane Bulldogs on 8 points, and Action X and Auckland Archers on 7 points. So this is where they need to start making up points to try and get in. Even Perth Panthers are sitting on six wins at the moment. 6 points at the moment. So that there's still a chance to get in. And look, if we're going to roll the dice, mathematically, it's probably even still possible for the Christchurch Conquerors to get in. But given they've only got one win with the 3 points, it's going to be very, very hard. That's it, Blue. Come on, Panthers. Let's go. We can do this. We just got to beat the Matildas. So, but yeah, there's only two rounds left in the season as well.
Yeah, nuts how quickly it goes. Really looking forward to Action X performing this round. I don't want to overlook Christchurch, but hopefully we've got this one.
Christchurch have a bit of an X factor, because they've had probably over the last couple of seasons, they've had the most change up in their lineup, and because then they're a little bit left of field team, because it's a little bit less experienced, but that brings out some pretty amazing plays. Like their win was against the Bulldogs, I think, who at the time was sitting on top. How do you take out the top side, the bottom side taking out the top side?
It absolutely just unpredictable, which is what makes the league really exciting. We've seen it in previous rounds already, so anything can happen.
That's it. And I will say, though, the game I'm looking forward to the most this week is the North Sydney Sentinels versus Brisbane Bulldogs. So Sentinels is currently sitting on top, and they always seem to gel partway through the season, and they hit a purple patch and off they go. And Bulldogs, they started off really strong, they've dropped a couple of games, one against the Panthers and one against the Conquerors. So these are our teams in 7 and 8. So those are games that they would probably have been writing up as wins. Let's face it, because these are the two bottom teams, but those teams came away with the win and put Bulldogs under a bit of pressure, sitting in the middle of the pack there. So it's an opportunity for North Sydney Sentinels to cement a spot at the top, and also for the Bulldogs to try and make some amends and bring back some points.
So what's your any pro tips for fantasy leaguers out there? I know you don't want to give away your whole roster, because you've been doing quite well, but
I'll rather than give away who I'm picking, because I want to try and get number one again.
Yeah.
It's more, for me, it's more been a switch in the mentality of how I do it. So with the star system, you can have 15 stars for your 5-man lineup. In the past, I was going for sort of 3-star players, but that came back to bite me in the bum a little bit, and I didn't have a lot of luck with that. So now I've switched to having like 2, 5 or 4-star players in there, so that you're guaranteed to get some points pretty much, and hopefully just fill it out with some players that will do their job if they get in. So add a few more points onto there. And I got lucky week before, well, the last round, where the 1 and 2 star players that I'd picked had some really good games, and my 5-star picks had outstanding games. So that was really good. So that would probably be something that I'd be looking for, and also be looking for players that have played a lot of their games. There's no point in picking players that have only played like 2% of the games. Like there's a player here that's played 5% of the games so far. So you want to try and steer clear of those, I think, to get your points up.
Very good tips. I appreciate those a lot. There's somebody who's in the just made the first page, I think, now.
Woo, well done.
Every point makes a difference.
That's it. And just on nuts and bolts before we finish up on that for tonight, we've still got one more thing that we want to have a bit of a chat about as well. But the ANZPL, so that's the Better League, as they like to be called. They still had their game on Monday night. So we had the Wollongong Wolverines, no longer the Wellington Wolverines. So they beat the Canberra Centurions 3-1. The second game, unfortunately, didn't go ahead due to some technical difficulties, and that will be replayed at a later date there. And that was the Hellcats versus the Leopards. And coming up next Monday for round 3, we'll have the Wolverines versus the Comets, and the Centurions versus the Leopards, which the Lismore Leopards are the new team in for this season, with the Hellcats having a bye.
So plenty of action still. That's
it. Lots of tank stuff, and that's even before we got Friday between then and now anyway. So that's going to be amazing. Is that tanky go boom boom? Yeah,
tanky.
Yeah, go bang, big bang. Yeah, but that's for all my gun go bang fans out there. In fact, I think I'm going to have to do a meme on that at some point. Gun go bang. So we're going to move on to a little bit of a discussion topic now.
Feel free to jump in, chat on this as well, because obviously I think everybody has an opinion about this, and lots of different points of view.
So during the week, this is from the LOL Esports Twitter page. During the 2021 World Championship, Mauen violated Rule 9.3 of the 2021 World Championship rule set, which prohibits association with gambling. Competitive integrity is the foundation for our sport, and we take all violations of our rule set extremely seriously. The competitive operations team obtained definitive evidence showing Mauen provided inside information to a friend for the purposes of wagering on today's match. Mauen will be suspended for the remainder of the 2021 World Championship and may be subject to additional penalties following a full investigation. So that's setting up a little bit about what we want to talk about tonight, and that's gambling in esports. So this is obviously very terrible and should not be done by a player. It's even just the impression of even if you said, I'm going to have a banger game, we've got some really cool strats coming up, so you should bet on us. That's still not good, because you're still influencing the market, and it comes to a point where if you're betting on a game and you lose and you bet on the other team to win, then it could be seen to be throwing matches, and that is one of the downsides of gambling in all sports, not just esports. And it's why things like insider trading as well generally frowned upon, shall we say. Well, probably a little bit more than frowned upon. But yeah, and it's an interesting thing, because gambling can bring in some some big money to any sport that it's attached to, and it just, I don't know. I have a hard time with gambling. Being from Western Australia, we don't have things like RSL halls where people go to and gamble on the poker machines. We have the casino. There's only one casino here that does any of the gambling and that is allowed to have poker machines. And to be honest, I kind of like that. I like that, when you walk into a little community hall, there's not some poker machines there and the people there that are just playing them. And like I always have that image of like from The Simpsons of that old lady with the cigarette where the ash on it is like an inch thick and stuff like that.
Yes.
Yeah. When I picture poker machines, and there's a whole raft of social issues that come along with it. And I was playing things out in my head thinking, I'm talking about poker machines here. We're talking about gambling in esports. So let's get back to that. But yeah, you're right, Menthonzo. There is a huge amount of money that comes from gambling. And it could be used to fund a lot of the organisation. So I can see the appeal of it, but I just have a hard time reconciling that with my own personal views.
I have just realised something that would have been really pertinent for us to discuss before we came on. So this week, or was it last week? I think it was the end of last week. The Australian Esports Association had like a conference day that they ran on YouTube, and our wonderful man from World of Tanks was on one of the panels, Jay. And they were actually talking about how, as a league owner and a league manager, how you can manage gambling. And they also had Matt Jessup on, who is a leader in the Australian esports community, who has been actually running some research looking at how we can make sure that there is standards that all sports abide by, that is clear, and he's making some recommendations in a paper that's gone to Parliament, which should be published hopefully soon. But one of the points Jay was really making is that at the moment for World of Tanks, he really sees that the players, while they're all given their code of conduct and they have to behave in a certain way, and professional standards are upheld, that they're not necessarily paying their players enough money to counterbalance the money that they could make from gambling or being associated with gambling or throwing a game, for example. So he's had offers from gambling outlets to say, hey, we want to promote your league and we want to start gambling as part of our thing, as part of our offerings. And he's said at the moment, no. Which I think is really, like, considering the money that's involved and the money that they would be throwing at him to do that, or at World of Tanks to do that, I think that's a really great decision to promote a healthy league and get a good head start.
Me too. I like the tack that they've taken there. And it is a huge temptation, especially in emerging esports. If you don't have like $1 million company behind you, like a Riot or a Activision or something like that can fund huge international tournaments. If you've got that little game that you're trying to build up, then yeah, players can be very much enticed by those offers when they might only get money if they win the competition. And I'm also curious because with things like traditional sports, and this is where esports is significantly different to traditional sports, where they'll have a governing body that oversees the whole sport. And yes, they're run as a business, but they look at things as the sport of a whole, right from the top, where you've got the national players or international players, or if they might even be right down to the grassroots players with the juniors and things like that. So they've got a really good handle on their leagues. Esports is very fractured when it comes to the different leagues, and just knowing what filters into what is a huge mammoth task. You'd have to spend a whole day doing that. Yeah. And if you say, all right, let's gamble on this international event, all of a sudden, can we gamble on the national events? Can we gamble on the local events? And once again, where the local events won't have the prize money or be able to pay the players what they want because they're a community run event, then that becomes a problem where match fixing has the potential to become rife.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely agree. And you can argue that it's lower stakes, but if your community isn't fostering the kind of values of integrity from those grassroots levels, then how do you expect it at the highest levels? That was certainly another thing that was discussed in the context of World of Tanks, because what Jay was saying is when they're looking at players to welcome into the league, they actually look at any reports against that player. So if that player's been, being disrespectful to other players, or if it has been reported for, any amount of incidences, what they can actually do if that player's applying to the league, they can say, hey, you've done these things, but if you keep a clean slate for the next 6 months or 12 months, we might consider you for the next league. That's a way, again, of reinforcing those positive attitudes and attributes, and hopefully encouraging the kind of players that you want in your league that would be less likely to cheat.
Yeah. But the other hand of it as well is that, like, betting companies have squillions of dollars to invest into organizations or even leagues in themselves, and it's sometimes hard to look past that money. It's great seed money to go on and do other things, to pay your players a good wage, because we don't want to just be funding these through competitions. Being able to pay them to play and train is where you want to get. These are professional athletes. They should be compensated as such. So it's really hard. I think part of the key thing for me is just that what value does gambling in esports bring? What can it do that a sponsor like that might be more suited to the environment? Like, I know World of Tanks, for their ANZPL, they got in with HyperX, because I'm wearing one of the World of Tanks branded headsets at the moment, from HyperX, and those sorts of things that might be a little bit more appealing, but it's the way that they can try and make money, because it's not about so much. Well, you need people to bet, obviously, but the arrangement is more a commercial arrangement between the governing body, whether that be a company like Wargaming or a little league like Summoner Society that's here in Australia, and the betting body as well.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess at the moment what we're talking about is the introduction of gambling bodies into sponsorship of esports, and I also think there is another discussion to be had here about the layers of sponsorship that's available in esports. So you can sponsor the influencer or the athlete, you can sponsor the team, or you can sponsor the league itself, or even the game, potentially, depending on if the it's a developer run league or independent leagues. I would hate to see individual athletes losing out on opportunities as influencers to not be able to be sponsored by a gambling company, even though I might not necessarily, love that idea. It might deter then that player cheating because they're actually finding a way to get sponsored personally, so then they have money in their pocket, so then they're not looking for these other avenues to make money. So
definitely a prickly subject.
Yeah, absolutely. From the practical side of things, I think more money and more investment in esports is great, but if we were looking at camel cigarettes smoking the league, with children that are like, really, we're looking at young people as the main audience for these esports. There is some morality and ethics there that has to be taken into consideration. I don't have the answers, but I think it's definitely a discussion that needs to be had.
Yeah. Once again, though, like you mentioned it with children watching it, and yes, that's a risk, and we definitely don't want children gambling, but I would guess that the majority of people watching these games, unless it's something like, I don't know, I can't even think of an example that's how, unless there was some sort of Minecraft esports or Roblox esports.
You look at Fortnite though. Fortnite's got a really active competitive scene, huge prize money, and there are kids playing. Like, it's not like you've got kids playing the game, you've got kids watching the game. And that's obviously a kind of game where I would just say, no, I don't think gambling is appropriate sponsor in that environment. But you look at something like Dota. Dota has a higher age bracket audience than other esports do. So you're looking at like that 22 and up kind of audience. And, I kind of go, people are responsible adults, and
there's that as well.
If it's going to mean people get more excitement and enjoyment out of the game like they do with traditional sports, and they're not hurting anyone.
It's always more interesting when you got a horse in the race.
Yeah, for sure. Sure, I am the only. I don't do sports betting. The only time I'll ever put a fun bet on is the NFL in the US, because I really don't care about American football. But one of our friends always throws a big party every year. We have wings, and it's great fun. So I'm the person that's betting on, like, what the coin toss is going to be, and what flavor Gatorade it's going to be tossed over the coach's head, and those kinds of weird bets. They're my kind of bets.
It's interesting because there is a lot of gambling around, and Menthonzo mentions the Melbourne Cup, and just like, even in Perth, almost every street corner has a little pop-up stand that you can go and put a bet in, and to little things like baby pools, where you try and guess the date that the baby's born. It's we do little things like that.
We like to put on a punt.
We do. When it's readily available and when it's easy to get to, that brings its own problems. So I'm glad to see organisations are at least thinking about it. And I'm definitely going to go and have a look at that video later on that Natty linked in chat for the for that
Esports Australia conference. Yeah.
Yes, Esports Australia panel that they were talking about that in, because it's a very, very tricky one to get right, and I'm glad that they're thinking about it, and in some cases saying no.
Yeah, absolutely, and hopefully, I think this is just part of the discussion about coming to maturity as an esport. You look at Dota and League of Legends and Age of Empires. These have been running for nearly a decade now, in some cases more. It's that time. It's that time we need to start tackling this stuff. And certainly when it comes to players and their conduct in games and outside of games, I think we're already there. I think we're already seeing quite a lot of maturity on generally on how that's handled. I think locally we're still struggling a lot. Certainly all the issues around the bans with CSGO and ESIC, it hasn't been managed the best, and I think that's driven some of the parliamentary investigations and why this paper is going to be coming out soon, just so we can look at how we manage this stuff better.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's about all we have for you here for Nuts and Bolts tonight. Anything else to add, Natty? I think we've covered pretty much everything we wanted to cover.
No. Oh my goodness, there's so much on. Don't forget, we've got, the Dota's running tonight. We've got League of Legends ongoing. Still lots of esports around and out there. Coming up in November, we've got the international for PUBG with our Aussie team going. So just
Fury, wasn't
never
it?
Stops. Never stops.
Always something going on, and then Christmas will be here before you know it. I know I don't want to say it myself, but yeah, it's very, very, it's coming on thick and fast. So much to see. Don't forget, World of Tanks ANZ Premier League this Friday, 7 p.m. Australian East. Oh no, sorry, I'm getting my 24-hour clock confused. It's where's it gone? Oh, I closed it. We'll go back to that screen. Hang on, so I can see. Yes, it's
no worries.
5 o'clock. Sorry, Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. It's late. Numbers, no head work. Can't imagine how you're going. You're 2.5 hours ahead of me, Natty.
Oh, that's all right. Yeah, I had a little siesta today.
Lucky you.
Yes.
I probably should have as well, but I was stuck into playing Metroid Dread. I'm fully hooked on that. It's such a good game.
Are you going to be streaming afterwards tonight? Or are you calling it a night?
No, I'm going to be playing Metroid Dread after this and hope that I still finish early enough that I can get a decent night's sleep.
Oh my goodness. Sorry, just super quickly. My hubby got an OLED.
Oh yeah, OLED Switch. Yeah.
Look, I was not sold because I thought that Nintendo did not do enough. But just those blacker blacks, those brighter whites, the poppier colours, man, it makes a world of difference.
They say that the screen looks really nice, and I like the improvements they made to the audio, but my Switch lives in its dock. So the only thing I'd be buying it for would be the bigger storage space. And it's nice, and if you haven't got a Switch, I would definitely recommend getting that model. But yeah, for people that leave it in its dock like me, not really worth it so much.
Yeah, fair.
Cool.
Anyway, I'll let you go. Thank you for a wonderful potty, and thank you for everybody tuning in. Always appreciate the company. Thanks, Manthonzo and Blue and a few other regulars that have been around.
No worries. And yeah, thank you to Natty for joining us again, and we'll see you guys next week. But stick around, I'll be playing some Metroid Dread right after this. Hey, you. Yeah, you, I'm talking to you. You, right there. I see you've watched our video all the way to the end. If you like what we're doing, why not drop us a subscribe? Or if you even like us even more, drop a comment and like us and all that jazz, because it really helps out the channel, and we're very keen to get our content out to you and let us know what you like, what you didn't like, all that jazz. And we'll see you next time.